Hospitals have been asked, Professor, to defer non-urgent surgeries and admissions, as well as non-urgent specialized outpatient clinic appointments. Now, for viewers who may have upcoming appointments at the hospitals, perhaps it could help them understand what is urgent and what is not.
Yeah, so the Tan Tock Seng outbreak is certainly the most challenging cluster at the moment, with 40 people to date, and there will probably be more that get diagnosed, but hopefully in quarantine going forward. That's obviously having an impact on other hospitals because to limit what Tan Tock Seng can do means that more healthcare has to be provided at other places. So naturally, the non-urgent stuff needs to be displaced. So we continue to look after the sickest people and the urgent things. It really would be a tragedy if someone suffered health-wise because we're all worried about COVID, but they went on and had a heart attack. So things like cardiology, many of those appointments will be urgent and not the sort of things you want to put off. I think things like obstetrics, that time clock is still going, cancer care. Many of these types of specialties are less able to defer. I think you'll find most people actually know what's a routine appointment and what can actually be put back a couple of weeks versus what needs to be sought out because there's a current issue. So if there's any doubt, the hospitals will certainly be contacting people and suggesting deferring. We certainly want to get a lot of those appointments and elective admissions and elective surgeries all deferred for a few weeks until we sort of restore the natural order. And don't forget, there's been a lot of systems set up through the course of the pandemic, such as telemedicine and delivering of medications and things like this. So you can kind of still have your appointment without going to hospital in many respects as well.
Right. Well, we learned yesterday that 5 cases in the Tan Tock Seng hospital cluster were found with a sublineage of the India variant, including the nurse who was the first detected case in the cluster. So, Professor, of course, virus variant should be studied in academic circles, but why is it important for the layperson like Haryanto and myself, to know which cases are infected, which virus type?
I've got a feeling you and Haryanto really want to know which variants they are. No, actually, there are some practical importance to this as well. Firstly, whole genome sequencing is done to see if the clusters are all the same type. That really confirms, we might say that a cluster is all epidemiologically linked, but that also means that they should be the same strain. So it's important in that regard to give that scientific backup to the sort of epidemiologic investigations. The other thing, I think, when it's these new variants that have emerged, and as was also made public that there's the English variant, the South African variant, the Brazilian variant, as well as the Indian ones, are all involved in these current clusters. That also tells us that these clusters are generally unlinked. So that also tells us that we need to really hone in on how each of these clusters started, because they've come from separate origins. I think it also tells the public that we are dealing with something that's different to a year ago. These are more slippery viruses, if you like. Things we did last year to prevent spread might have worked with a less transmissible virus, but now with these more transmissible ones, we just have to be that much more meticulous and careful with all our efforts, because if you've got something that's more transmissible, then it's less forgiving if you don't do everything that we know to do and do it really well.